Welcome back, everyone. We are now going to go into Chapter 5, which involves using a list view. Now, you're looking at kind of a initial view of what this will look like. A list view is a way that you can display more than one item for the user to click on. And in our case, each item that's clicked on will take you to either a website or to a graphic image, a picture. Now, this is also the first project we're going to do that involves changing XML code as opposed to just dragging and dropping. For the record, I did not drag and drop this list view onto my preview window. Let me show you. Here is the XML code. Now, I did change it to a relative layout, which, as we all know, can be a little not reliable as far as positioning of widgets in the preview window. However, for this one, it's no big deal because the list view is the only thing being displayed. So going to a relative layout for this particular screen, the main activity, is perfectly fine. The only thing is, this tag that begins the relative layout, by default, it is a one-sided tag, meaning that down here, this greater than symbol has a slash after it, meaning there's no closing tag. For this relative layout, what you have to do is you have to create a closing tag. You see we have a relative layout tag here. Well, then here is a / relative layout. This closes it. That means that the relative layout tag is going to be a two-sided tag as opposed to a one-sided tag. Okay, the only two things I did were this one. Here is where I created the list view. I did it here in the XML using a list view tag. And in this case, a list view is a one-sided tag. There is no /list view tag involved here. All you have to do is set the layout width and height equal to match parent, as it says here. And then you must give it an ID. You have to give it a name. Well, we're just going to call it Chicago because all 5 of the things we're going to click on the list view involve attractions in the city of Chicago. We also created a text view here in the XML. As you can see, its width is fill parent, there's its height, its ID is just travel. The text size is 20 SP, and then we're going to add this drawable left attribute because we're going to have another launcher icon involved. But unlike the previous time we used a launcher, this one is going to appear in each one of the 5 selections that we have on the list view. Okay, now let's see here. Now, as far as that launcher icon, as you can see here in the drawable folder, I have put my launcher icon right there. I still needed to go to File, New, and Image Asset and create it in here. So once again, like I did before, I had to do the directory path of where the image is on my computer right here. And I also had to select yes on the trim. Now I've already put this icon in here, so I'm going to hit cancel. You, of course, when you first put it in, you must click on the next button, then click on a finish button. So I will cancel this. Okay. Now, as far as, well, before I get to that activity, you'll notice that there are also 3 graphic files, PNGs. One called Pier, that's for the Navy Pier in Chicago. One called Water, that's for Water Tower Place. And one called Willis, which is for the Willis Tower, also known as the Sears Tower. Those will be the 3 pictures or graphic images that are displayed. Now then, as far as the main activity.java is concerned, here's what we did. I'll take you through this rather quickly. So here I create a list view object, and I'll call it Chicago by ID. Here I create an array of strings. These will be the 5 descriptions that we have for the 5 things to select. So we create an array, and the name of the array is attraction. Then we must create an array adapter. This is what puts the array into the list view. So I'm just calling it A, short name, and we make an object of the array adapter class. First, we say the context is this, the screen we're on right now. We say r.layout_activity_main. We say RID travel. We put the text box in each slot, and then we have attraction, the name of the array, as the last parameter. And then finally, we must set this adapter. So we set the adapter related to our list view, which is called Chicago. We must set it. Then the adapter, or the list view, I'm sorry, Chicago, has its own set on item click listener. Now this on item click method will show up automatically when you define this item on click listener. Please follow the PowerPoints for chapter 5. They are very detailed. And what we're doing is, so for each index, the switch statement, which is basically a case statement, it goes by the position, and the position is the index into the array. So as we all know, arrays have a starting index of 0. So that means the Art Institute of Chicago text has an index of 0, Magnificent Mile has an index of 1, and so on. So if it's index 0, you mean you want to go to the Art Institute of Chicago's website, you're going to do a start activity, but the place you'll go is the Art Institute's website, which we set up like this. You have to do a URI, Uniform Resource Indicator, .parse, and then you put the URL in quotation marks here in the parentheses. Same thing for the Magnificent Mile. There is the Magnificent Miles website. So if the user picks the second selection in the list view, which is index 1, we go to the Magnificent Miles website. Now, in the case of if the index is 2, 3, or 4, index 2 goes to the Willis Tower, index 3 goes to the Navy Pier, index 4 goes to Water Tower Place. All we're going to do is display the picture. Now, the picture for those 3. Now, the thing is, for each of those 3 pictures, you had to create another activity. As you can see up here, I've got my main activity. That's the code we're looking at right now. That's to display the list view. But then we had to create a separate activity. Yes, that means another screen for the Navy Pier, for the Water Tower, and for the Willis Tower. But on all of those, the only thing you're doing is you are displaying the picture. Let me go here. I'm going to go out of the, let's go back to the activity main. Okay, I'll go back to the design view. So there is what we got. For Willis, the only thing on this is just an image view that has the picture of the Willis Tower. That's the only widget that's on there. Same thing for the Navy Pier, and the same thing for the Water Tower. And for all 3 of those, the Willis Tower, the Navy Pier, and the Water Tower, you don't need to change the Java code at all for any of those. You don't need it. 2 other things you do need, here is strings.xml. You will need these 3 added by using the translations editor. And you will also need to go into themes. That's down here. That themes.xml right there. And you will need to change this. The parent should equal what you see in this yellow box, theme.appcompat.no action bar. That's the change you need to make the themes. And that's pretty much all the code. Once again, though, I will refer you to the Chapter 5 PowerPoint slides for all the details that you will need. Okay, I'm going to try to run this program now, and I will bring you back when it's running. And our app is now running, and as you can see, here is the list view with the icon displayed on all 5 selections. So first, we'll click on Art Institute of Chicago. And here comes the Google browser. And there it is. Welcome to the Art Institute of Chicago. Now I'm going to hit the back button, which is up here, and go back to my list view. There it is. Now let's look at the Magnificent Mile. Now, traditionally, the Magnificent Mile website's been a little bit slow to come up, although this one came up pretty nice. I think this might have come up better because of two reasons. One, it seems to be faster on the Pixel 8 Pro emulator. And second, I think they may have gone in there and redesigned this website to make it come up easier. But either way, there's the Magnificent Mile website, and I guess it knew I was going to hit the back button. Here's the Willis Tower picture. That's all you get. Here's the Navy Pier. And there's the Water Tower Place. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you do a list view in Android Studio. If you have any questions, please send me an email at kmuldrow@lbcc.edu.